Hey guys, Peugeot here. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most anticipated events in the game, which is the War of the Kingdoms, also known as KvK, Kingdom versus Kingdom. So we can consider the option of being a fighter or a farmer, depending on our opponent. Sometimes we meet very strong opponents and it's just not productive for us to fight them because they would kill us. So in this case we would just gather and get our point. So in this case let's first look at the role of a fighter and what can you do if you choose to get your points via fighting. First of all, the event is all about the rewards, the diamond mines that you get for winning or losing. And then the second reward tier is the one you get from your solo points. You need about 4 million points to get the maximum rewards. So how do you get those points? There are three ways: occupying castles, eliminating enemy troops, and gathering resources. So as a fighter, you can do the first two. You can stay in castles and get some points, or you can eliminate enemy troops. So you have a few options as a fighter. You can be a solo attacker, and this way you can get a lot of points from just zeroing people or hitting them and making them lose a lot more than what you do. So as a solo attacker you have two choices. You can be a zero castle, meaning if they hit you, you wouldn't have any troops in your city. And of course, if you're a very strong account, you don't need to be a zero castle, you can just go around and eliminating people. The second option is to be a trap castle, and as a trap castle you can just bait people into attacking you. Usually you have to be a castle with very little power, maybe 200-300 million, but with a lot of meat shields, so that the people think you would be very small, you would be easily defeated, but you would have your anti-scout on, and when they attack you, they lose their army and you capture their lord. So it's a very fun way to play. Now as a trap castle you can choose to play with bows, or you could choose to play 3 troop types, up to you. Another option is to be a rally leader in KvK. As a rally leader you can take the castles from the enemy, or you can rally very strong players that cannot be soloed. Also, you could just reinforce rallies that other rally leaders have started. That way you still get a lot of points. And the best and fastest way, of course, to earn points would be to stay in a castle with your T4s. If you have 8 marches available, you can, let's say, occupy 8 different castles, which is actually impossible. But there is a spot in the kingdom, you can reach like 5 castles from it. So that way you can be able to stack points very, very fast. We're talking 6-digit number of points if they leave you alone the entire day in the castles. So that pretty much sums up the fighting part. Then for us today, we are of course against a very strong opponent, so most of us are not fighting. So what can you do as a farmer when you're faced with such an opponent? So you don't want to unbubble, of course, you keep your shield on and you go to the enemy server to gather resources, because of course if you gather resources on your own server you would give the opponent points, and we don't want to do that. So you go to the enemy server. As you can see, I'm already there. and you start gathering resources. Now, the first thing that you need to consider is your gathering buff speed. The buff will give you 50%, which of course gives you the chance to gather much faster. The second thing is the equipment that gives you gathering speed, and that equipment is in the Huntsman set. As you can see, I didn't much care for it, but of course if you have very highly upgraded Huntsman gear, you should use it, so that way you get more carrying capacity and of course gathering speed. Another thing very important is if you're able to get the castle exterior, the lush forest, because that is going to give you a lot of gathering speed. You get like 15% from the active bonus, plus, as you can see, another 10% just for owning that castle skin. So that's like 25% extra on top of everything else. And last but not least, you can use gathering skills on your dragon, which I don't normally do because my dragons are fighting. So this is of course something you can consider. As you can see, there are plenty of gathering skills that you can use. So up to you if you want to achieve that. Then what do you gather? Which resource is the best? So in my opinion, as you can see here, the iron is the one that gives you most points per resource. And of course the gold gives a little bit more. However, the gold is gathered much slower than the iron. So in this case the iron is gathered faster, you get more of it faster, and that way you get much more points. I got like 3.4 million from like 7 level 4 iron nodes. So in less than 3 hours you could actually achieve your 4 million. And of course you want to be very fast about it, because you know there are people attacking nodes, you don't want to lose your army. It's very important that when gathering the iron you send only T1. As you can see, I'm sending T1 bowmen because the bowmen, they have the highest carrying capacity. They can carry more resources, meaning you can send less troops. So even if somebody kills your node, you would lose little troops and it would be T1s. And we all know that those are easily replaceable. You can heal them without spending gold. So this is how you do it. Now, the other way that you can help your alliance while gathering is being a bubble castle. Because you know you're gonna be gathering your resources, but maybe some of your guys will be fighting. So what can you do to help them? You can be a bubble buddy. And a bubble buddy means that people can hide their troops in your castle. And this can happen in a few ways. Like you can get reinforced. People can reinforce you and hide their troops in your city. Or you could start a rally for 8 hours and people can hide their troops in your fake rally. So this way you still help your alliance even if you are not fighting. Now, of course, your alliance can also use your castle to store their excess resources, so this way they are not going to be plundered by the enemy if your guys get hit. So this is pretty much what you can do as a fighter and as a farmer. Which one do you prefer? Write in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing some more suggestions, what would be other interesting ways of having fun in KvK. And this is it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.